I want to introduce you to a profound thinker who's revolutionized how many of us approach personal and professional development, Marshall Goldsmith. As a world renowned executive coach, Marshall has worked with over 150 CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, helping the most successful leaders in the world navigate complex behavioral challenges. His groundbreaking book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, fundamentally changed my own perspective on growth. As one of the world's leading executive coaches, I anticipated his advice would revolve around leveraging power or cultivating prestige. To my surprise, Goldsmith's core philosophy was rooted in the principles of service and humility. A crucial element of his approach was his commitment to working only with individuals generally seeking improvement. He emphasized that true progress came not from dictating solutions, but from gathering information and then, through the art of active listening and insightful questioning, guiding the individual towards their own growth. This resonates deeply for new managers. Our role isn't to fix or improve someone through authority and our expertise. Instead, by offering relevant information, asking probing questions, and facilitating commitments, we can empower our team members to improve themselves, but only if they possess the fundamental desire to get better. He asserts that people will do something, including changing their behavior, only if it can be demonstrated that doing so is in their own best interest, as defined by their own values. This isn't about forcing change. It's about helping individuals understand how new behaviors align with what truly matters to them, empowering them to choose a different, more effective path forward. You can support and guide your team as they choose to change. A common mistake I see in many new managers is they feel like they can fix someone who is struggling in another department. In my experience, this doesn't work, and a staff member who struggled in one team, usually for items outside of the workplace, transfer, and then struggle on a new team. The good thing about working in community colleges, most of the people you manage do want to learn and are open to conversations on getting better. Since reading his book, I use his model of coaching for myself and my team. Goldsmith's model is a practical step by step process for personal and professional development. It focuses on identifying a behavior change and then getting consistent support and accountability to make that change stick. The first step is to gather feedback to pinpoint a behavioral strength to leverage or a weakness to correct. One effective method that I mentioned in the last video is the 360-degree survey. This involves getting input from multiple sources, peers, direct reports, and supervisors to gain a comprehensive view of your strengths and areas for improvement. One additional note I wanted to make on the 360-degree survey is that it can be intense, as it may reveal information the individual didn't realize. It is also hard for many, me included, to get honest critical feedback. If you are new to a team, I would recommend the first year development improvement projects come from conversations with your staff and letting them identify an area they want to improve. After you've built trust with your team, they're willing to open up more to what they may receive on a survey. The next screen shows a copy of a different 360-degree survey feedback I received on myself. I used a Microsoft form, had general questions, and allowed people to answer this anonymously. Once set up, it's easy to copy and adjust for others you may supervise. I already had a notion I wanted to work on creating accountability, and this helped emphasize that decision. If you're focused on correcting a weakness, the very first thing you should do is apologize to the people you lead. This apology is simple and direct. I'm sorry. There's no explanation, no justification, and no buts. The goal is simply to acknowledge the impact of your actions and show humility. How many times in the workplace have you had someone come up to you and say, I realize I behaved like this in the past and it has affected you and I'm sorry? I don't know if that has ever happened to me, but it can be powerful for the sender and the receiver. Once you've apologized, the next step is to get feed forward. The first time I heard this was from Marshall Goldsmith, but now use it for a variety of activities. This is an important tool in managing, not just for people development. Feedback focuses on the past. Feed forward is all about the future. It's a proactive way to get ideas for moving forward. Here's how you do it. Ask 5 people, what ideas do you have for me moving forward? For example, when I was working on improving accountability, I asked, I'm working on improving my accountability. What are 2 ideas you have for me to hold myself and others more accountable? When you get these suggestions, you don't have to agree with all of them, and some of them won't be possible or make sense. When people give you feedback, the only thing you say is thank you. No matter if it's the best idea you heard or if you have 5 reasons why the idea won't work, the only thing you say is thank you. When you share an idea with someone and they immediately tell you why it won't work, the message it sends to you is to not share honest ideas with this person in the future. The goal is to listen, think about all the suggestions, and then choose one idea to focus on. Now it's time to put your chosen idea into action. I recommend having people focus on one idea at a time. Generally, when we want to make a change, we like to follow multiple ideas, and this leads us to making little progress on any. Think back to the discussion on the 4 disciplines of execution. The power in this was finding the one item everyone could focus on outside of the daily whirlwind, and then having accountability on this action. This is a similar strategy for behavior change. If individuals can focus on one thing, they can have greater success. You'll tell an accountability partner the idea you're working on. This partner will then ask you once a week, how are you doing on your change? It is easier for us to lie to ourselves resisting behavior change than it is to lie to someone we respect. This simple, consistent check-in creates the accountability you need to stay on track. After working on your improvement for 3 months, you should go back to the people you work with and lead and ask them if they've seen a difference. This closes the loop and shows you are serious about your development. In addition, people have an opinion on you, and unless you create a reason for people to reconsider this, no matter how much you change, people won't see this and still have their initial biases in working with you. For this process to work, everyone involved, especially those providing feedback, must agree to a few key commitments. First, let go of the past. Focus on future actions, not past mistakes. In our small colleges, our relationships have a complicated web at work and in the community. If we want to grow, we can't let the pains of the past continue to haunt us. Second, tell the truth. Be honest and direct and kind. Third, be supportive and helpful. Avoid being cynical or simply negative. Fourth, pick something to improve yourself. Everyone should be focused on improving, not judging. Finally, respond with only thank you. When you receive feedback, the only acceptable response is thank you. This prevents defensiveness and keeps the focus on learning. One of the keys to the entire Goldsmith model is being a great listener. The best listeners make you feel like you're the only person in the world. Here are some of Goldsmith's tips for becoming a better listener. First, don't interrupt or finish the other person's sentences. Second, don't say, I knew that, or even agree with them. Just say thank you. Third, don't use the words no, but, and however. Next, eliminate distractions. Maintain eye contact and focus completely on the speaker. Finally, engage by asking intelligent questions that show you are paying attention and move the conversation. Also, eliminate any need to impress others with how smart or funny you are. Your only goal is to make the other person feel heard and accomplished. You probably realize this isn't the first time in these modules listening has been emphasized. Listening is arguably the most important skill for a manager or leader. It shows respect and builds trust, which are essential for guiding and developing others. Think back to the coaches or supervisor who helped you grow the most. They saw more in you than you saw in yourself and helped you find that greatness within yourself. That's the true role of a great manager, not to fix people, but to help them identify areas for growth and then provide the guidance and accountability to help them succeed. By embracing the principles of Marshall Goldsmith's model, you can become that kind of leader, one who cultivates potential and builds a team of capable, confident individuals. After this module is a worksheet you can use with your team and a sample 360-degree survey. Dig into these to help yourself and your staff grow into the people they can be.